Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Welcome to the Dhammapada program. This is the number 51 verse of the Dhammapada, the Pupa Vagga chapter on flowers. Here the Buddha talks about a flower with fragrance and flower without fragrance, and comparing a man with the fragrance, without fragrance. Although a flower is beautiful but without scent, even so fruitless are the fine words of him who does not act accordingly. As a flower that is lovely and beautiful, but is scentless, even so, fruitless is the well-spoken word of a person who does not practice it. This is a very fine expression regarding the practitioners of the Dhamma and the Vinaya or discipline. Some of sweet-scented voice with fine words and nicely explain the doctrinal matters. They are generally very well known in the society, but in the pragmatic side, they might be very weak. They are just like scentless flowers. This is related to the Dhammadhara quality. That means the one who learned the Dhamma by heart. The Buddhist monks and other practitioners are expected to learn the Dhamma and to behave in accordance with the Dhamma. They are to engage in the Dhamma and the Vinaya, the discipline. If one were a scentless flower, then his body does not suffice good fragrance. This good aroma always comes from a sweet-smelling flower. It is natural. So if a practitioner or monks, those who are not leading their life without studying and listening the Dhamma, are fruitless persons. They do not engage in what ought to be done. They do not suffice three types of good smells. There are three types of smells. Sutta Gandham, fragrance of listening. Chaga Gandham, fragrance of renunciation or giving up. And Patipatti Gandham, fragrance of practice or performance. If the practitioner is away from these fragrances, that means he is leading a fruitless life and not the proper spiritual life. In the lay society, also there are those who listen to the Dhamma and would enthusiastically practice it. It needs a devotional heart which shows the proper way to correct path. Some people just listen the Dhamma and after that never think of practicing. For instance, take dana or generosity. Without practicing generosity, nothing can be done in the Buddhist spiritual path. Without paying much emphasis to generosity, climbing in the spiritual stairway has no any sense. The doctrinal matters found in the canonical texts are not meant only for monks, but it is a wise person's heritage. Doesn't matter whether you're a monk or a lay person, but this teaching is a wise person's heritage. It's our heritage. It can be considered to be an ocean of knowledge and wisdom, which conduces to happiness of all. Therefore, Buddhism is meant for all and not limited to a particular nation or a group of people. It is open for everyone in the world. Buddhist doctrine bears a quality of Swaghata, well said by the enlightened one. It should be comprehended by everyone to realize ultimate reality and the true nature of mankind and universe. The Buddhist doctrine bears another quality which we do not easily find, that is the quality of ehipassika, which means come and see, come and see, come and examine. It gives full freedom to man's rational thinking. Therefore, it is important to learn this ehipassika teaching. Come and see, come and examine the teaching. So open-minded persons can easily understand that what the favorable teaching is and what sort of teaching is conducive to the happiness and welfare of human beings. Buddhism never recommends ditthis or dogmatic views which are assuredly harmful for human society. The dogmatic views are harmful for human society. If people are obsessed of having ditthis, dogmatic views, they are creating an utterly confused society before our very eyes. Although a flower is beautiful but without scent, even so fruitless are the fine words of him who does not act accordingly. This is the very meaning of the 51 verse. The 52nd verse also conveys a similar meaning but completely different, opposite to the meaning of the verse number 51. Like a lovely flower full of color and fragrance are the words of those who practice what they preach. See, although a flower is beautiful but without scent, even so fruitless are the fine words of him or her who does not act accordingly. Like a lovely flower full of color and fragrance are the words of those who practice what they preach. So it is important what we preach, we should practice. It is a noble principle, a noble quality to abide by, a noble quality to possess. This is a very important message from the verse number 51 and 52 of the Dhammapada. May you all be well and happy.